Hey y'all, and welcome to Put It All on Red. I have a phenomenal guest. She's gonna be she actually is on live with us audio, so she's calling in. But nevertheless, she's phenomenal. Her name is Latanya Childs Williams. She's a longtime dear friend of mine, but she's a great woman of God. We've just been on this journey of life together. I did leave one of the captures that I had on there, which was getting rid of things that don't benefit us. And I just thought we can leave that on. Miss Williams, would you like to speak?
Sure. Thank you so much for having me here on the show with you tonight.
All right. Well, we are glad that you joined us. And you know what I told her, because we had some technical difficulties because she was going to be with us live. So she's on audio. But I told her, you know what, your message is so phenomenal that I know that's where the problem come in. The devil don't like that when he sees his story. How God has blessed one his, because she is a woman of God. Would you like to share a little bit about yourself?
Yes, ma'am. First and foremost, like you said, I am a woman of God. I am a wife, a mother, a grandmother, a business owner, a pastor in the gospel, minister in the gospel. And I just love doing God's work.
Okay. Now, Tanya, when we first met, and I call her Tanya, but it's little Tanya. When we first met, could you share with the audience how we met?
Yes, I can. We met at Southern Nazarene University on the first night of class. We were doing our Bachelor Studies Gerontology, Family Studies Gerontology. And we just began a friendship that turned into a sisterhood, and we've been friends ever since. And I think that was like back in 1999 or 2020, somewhere in there.
Yes. Now, for our audience, because Tanya, what I've realized with trials and tribulations and successors, because we're going to get to your successors, because hey, I like that new building and I love that 1, 2, and 3. But we're going to talk about that a little later, because I want to talk about when we first met, some of the things, some of the trials that we were going through, because we both had parallel lives that was interesting. We had just got accepted into college for our last years, and I remember when we came out, I was like, "No, we're gonna finish this."
Yes, ma'am. Yes, we're gonna finish. We're gonna get this done.
Right. So could you share with the audience some of that?
Well, we were both working on our bachelor's degrees together again for our family studies gerontology. We pretty much got completed with that. We also started our master's degree together in business management. We had some trials through there, and we both had to take a leave just for a little bit, but we didn't. We took a leave, but we did complete it. And we both went on. We were halfway done, and then we ended up getting kind of like suspended. I would say they suspended us for a couple of semesters, and to me, it was all pretty.
Yeah.
How do I want to put? I would say it was a little. I felt like there was some racism going on in that segment. That's
Definitely.
how I really felt.
Definitely.
But nevertheless, we did both get to complete our master's degree. You went to a different university to complete yours, and I went back to SMU to complete mine. And from there, we both started on our PhD together. We both done a semester together. And then I think life is just lifing, as they say now. The kids say now, life is lifing.
Right.
And we ended up having to do different things, and we took a leave from that. Not to say we won't go back and complete it one day either, but we did go that far.
Right. We did. We start. So somebody said suspended. Let me find out. Well, now you know what? Since Tanya brought that out here, and I believe that maybe God wants it out there because it's other sisters and definitely brothers that are going through this. But what you'll get when you're a black woman, because we're both black women, when we start knocking on doors that traditionally we're not supposed to be there. See, because these colleges will let you in, because that's where they get their money from financially.
Right.
But they don't want you. That don't mean they want us there. So politically, uh, we might fit the bar, because we were able to pass the test and to get in. But the guy that was over the program, I want to say his name is Dr. Moore. Um, he had a lot of biases when it came to African Americans, when it came to blacks, and I remember telling Tanya, I was like, Tanya, I don't think he wants us here because we were so on fire when we first got our bachelors. So yes, we were so on fire. Yeah, we were on fire. We were ready. We were ready to conquer the world. We were ready to continue on with our education. Yes. And that's just one part that Tanya has made me, brought back to my memory, because I did forget that we were treated indifferently in that program. And it was.
There were questions asked to us, like, there were things that were said, like, basically, black people love fried chicken. Yeah. Black people love driving Cadillacs. It was just a lot of things that they threw out there that was very racist in a sense. And I think because we challenged them with those questions, I think that was another thing that ended up getting us kind of released from the program, per se.
Yes.
Because we questioned the things that they threw out there. We questioned the things that they said. And of course, there was only like a handful of black people in that classroom, not very many at all.
Yes.
And they allowed us to all work in groups. But then when it came to our group, that's where the problem came in, because our group was just me and you.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was nobody of a different nationality that sat with us. It was just you and I. And so for that reason, we were kind of kicked out of the program for some different things. But like I said, nevertheless, the challenges that they placed in front of us on how we would be able to finish, we completed them all and came on back.
Right. We did. So basically, and I mean, this was something at that time very hurtful, because it was a different view of life that I didn't know that we would go through these things. Yeah, because again, you have they'll let you in, but the whole deal is that's right, they don't want you to finish. And I remember the guy that was over that program, he would say he's the gatekeeper. And he would say that so adamantly while we would sit in class. So he was very biased as far as who we are. And then when I had even spoke to him one night, because I wanted to know, because we had Tiger Woods out on the golf field, and he was killing it at the time, right? So he goes, what's next? They're gonna put some watermelon and chicken out there. So you're right. Yes. I remember that. And I was like, oh, wait a minute, this is going a little bit too far, because what does this have to do with business logistics? What does this have to do with academia? We are both intelligent women, but we were discouraged. And we were discouraged because I had spoke with the producer. She asked me about womanhood, and I told her it's a time that it was subtle in what we were told we could do. Right? We had limits put up on us, and we might not have known them. Go ahead, Tanya.
And and I think just the fact that we came from a background of being single mothers, both of us I had 5 children, you had 4 children. There were just a lot of other obstacles that they tried to put in our way, basically to discourage us to not finish the program. Saying, well, maybe you need to go to another university, take some more classes, and see how you do over there. And then in time, come back. I mean, it even went that far that I had to leave the university, come back to the university, show where I completed the things that they wanted me to complete, show that they were passable, and then they made as though, well, I don't understand how you were able to pass at the other university. So that was even like a slap in the face. What are you trying to say,
Yeah.
So when I did get back all together, they ended up telling me the only way that I would be able to complete, at this time, we've completed the bachelor's and now we're in the master's program. So the only way that I would be able to complete the program was I was going to have to drive to Tulsa, which is like an hour and some change away from Oklahoma, because they said in Oklahoma City they didn't have a campus that I could fit in at that time that I could complete. But I only had a certain amount of time in a window to complete it unless I would have lost everything that I had done. So I think that was another way to discourage. So maybe if we tell her this is what she's going to have to do, she's not going to want to complete. But they just didn't know that lit the fire even more. So I had to drive that last couple of semesters back and forth to Tulsa. You got to be in class at 6 in the evening. You don't get out till 10 o'clock at night. There was a few times I got lost, so I didn't make it home to 1 in the morning because I'm tired when I'm getting out of class and I'm driving this highway by myself, and so I'm having to come back home. But when it was all said, and I told them, I said, I literally feel like you all are saying to me, nigga, go sit down. And I had to tell this to the dean of the college at that time. I feel like you all were saying to me, go sit down. You gotten this far. You can only go this far. We don't want you to go any further. That's what I felt like.
Yes.
And then I also told them that I felt like if I brought in all the news channels and told them exactly what you all are doing to us, we'd have a lot of more people that would come forward because you probably done it to a lot of other people. They just didn't say anything. They just did what you did and they walked away.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm not going to just walk away. I have a window to get finished and I want to get completed. And I did get completed in that window.
Yes. Yes. And I even went to an attorney during that time because it was discriminatory. It did put a lot of pressure on me because you have to know I've already put in a lot of time. We had already put in maybe 9 months in a master's program that was intense. So that means we have put in probably 20, 30 hours a week from our families, from our lives, not only to mention the finances, because it is a private university. So we had already we were knee deep into the degree. Actually, we only had 3 classes left.
We had 3 classes left to do.
That's it. And one of them was just a seminar. So it wasn't even a class. And so we were given the GMAT, and we were also giving a statistic, not even a class. You remember, it was really just like a test. And even after we would continue passing these feats, we would still get thrown other things. So to complete, yes, and told that we were not good enough to be in this program.
Basically, that's exactly what they were saying in a nutshell.
That is what it was. And I have to mention, when we met, I was very, I guess, organically African American. I'll say it that way. So, and Tanya was a lot nicer and lighter than I was. So meaning I was already attuned to when I was hearing things spoke to me a certain way, or hearing you say things that were discriminatory. I kind of already felt it. Like, what is this going on? And I would say it to her. I'd be like, well, I don't know if they want us here. And she said, yeah, that's okay. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep going. But basically, that was the beginning of our friendship. Now, as she said, on that journey, we did go ahead. We both completed our masters. We both went into our own ways, own companies. We both raised our children. So we both raised our children, and we had a house full, right?
Yes.
She had 5. And actually, Tanya, I had 5.
Okay, that's right. I forgot you did take in a niece, I think, or
A
something.
nephew. I had a nephew I had
Okay,
took
yes,
in, and you had took
yes.
in your niece. So basically, we were parallel of what we
Mhm,
had because you had girls and I had the boys,
mhm.
and I only had one girl. So we were the opposite there, and yours was a little bit more
Right.
balanced out. But we did, as women, as Black women, we overcame. I would say that part, and it was very discriminatory, and it was very painful. Just now that you mentioned it, I had put that somewhere back in my mind. I had even forgotten, but now that you talk about it, I experienced some of that same, I guess, pain that I had and
Yes.
disappointment because you don't feel as though people will treat you indifferently after you've proven your
Your
worth
point.
or
Yes.
or
And it's
your
so they were
worth.
treating you as though you don't belong here, you're not accepted here.
Yes.
And how dare you to challenge what we're saying to you? And I believe that there were a lot of people that walked away from that program, never completed, feeling discouraged, didn't have a voice, and they left and didn't
Yes.
return. So they never finished those degrees after taking out all the loans and stuff to complete that
That's
program.
right. Very
They left
expensive.
feeling discouraged. Whereas with me, I told him, I said, I've come too far. Only have 3 classes left. Because they would say, well, go to a whole other university. I said, I'm not going to go to a whole other university and start over, which you did. You went on ahead and went to another university and started over. And I just said, I'm not doing that.
Yes.
I'm not starting over because we came too far. And I talked to you about it. We tried to discuss, and I told you, come on, let's go back together. And you were really just still so scorned from them, and you didn't want to go back.
Yeah. Well, because
so
I
you went on
did.
ahead to start somewhere else.
Yeah.
And complete.
Yeah.
I just went on ahead and stuck it out, but I had to drive a great distance. I could have, there was, like I said, a couple of times I got lost coming home from way down there, but nevertheless,
Yeah.
we pushed on through those doors and came on out.
Right.
In regards to what they were trying to do, they didn't get to achieve.
Right.
We achieved.
That's right. And we are still achieving, right?
Yes, we are.
Because we are still
We're
evolving.
still knocking down doors, still knocking down barriers, doing things that really they don't feel like we should be doing. We shouldn't be walking through these doors. We shouldn't be able to stand tall the way we're standing tall.
Yes.
Really, they don't want to see that.
Yes.
But they see that. They see we're standing anyway. Not only are we standing, our children are standing now. Our children are coming through those doors. We've made a way for the children to come through the doors and know that they can do it just as well.
Say that, Tanya. Say that.
I also remember something, Roberta. I was doing the home daycare thing, and you eventually started. Do you remember that?
I do remember. We started off. Let me wait a minute. Hold on. Let me say this. So
Okay.
Tanya came to me and she said, because she always kept me in the know. I'd say that she's very resourceful. I always been a resourceful individual. So she'd come to me. I'm quiet most part, but I'm very assertive as far as when I say something like, yes, this is what it is. So she said, Roberta, you're going to have to start your home child care business too. And I said, well, I don't know. Then she said, but now they want us to have all this training. I said, Tanya, I'm certified to do those trainings. She was like, what? So basically, we set up our own training. We set up our own home child care. It really grew
Yes.
hugely. Was a huge success. And then I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna hand the ball to you now. You tell the rest. Guys, this is this God's work. Go ahead, Miss Tanya.
Okay, so what came out of all this is I was doing the home daycare. You called me one day and you said, hey, I know you said you've been looking for a facility, and I think I found something for you. And I said, okay. And at that time, didn't have the resources, didn't have the money, didn't have a lot of things that was needed to go in and open up a business, had never opened a business before, didn't know anything about what that even looked like. But you gave me a number to someone you were renting from and said that they had asked you, do you want to open a center? And you told them no, but my friend does. I don't want to do that much. I'm fine with just doing it out of the house. And so you called me up and told me to call this guy up and go look at the place. And I called him up and went look at the place. And when I first looked at the place, it was intimidating. It really was, because it looked like a box car, a little box car. The parking lot was really raggedy. I mean, it just looked like, what are you doing? And so he was telling me he would base the rent off whatever the work had to be. So he started out at a figure of $350 is what the rent would have been, because he wanted me to start paying rent immediately. And then he goes on to say, and this is where God opens the door, because he goes on to say, well, we can charge a little more, but the more work that we do, be the more your rent will go up. And so I said, okay. And so I went in, analyzed the place, and I seen there was a lot of things that need to be done. So we went from $350 when it was all said and done. I was having to pay $1,250 a month, because they went in and totally revitalized the whole place, refurbished it, and did exactly the way I laid it out. And what was so funny is that I laid it out, but I didn't have a plan, but God had a plan. Because I didn't have a plan. I didn't know anything about this. But as I went in, every detail that I gave, God was giving me the detail. And, you got to go through all the license stipulations. There's a lot of things and red tape you got to go through DHS and then through the city. Mm-hmm. But again, God walked me through every step of that plan. And when it was all said and done, when the lady first came out to view the building to see if it was ready, we got our times mixed up. So we got there at different times. So when the lady came, when she first came, she seen exactly what I seen. Like, I know this woman isn't trying to do anything with this place, because this place is in shambles. This place is a mess. What could she be thinking? Literally in 60 days, when she came back and we finally got it right and we met at the same time, she said, I cannot believe this is the exact same place I seen 60 days ago, because it looked nothing like this. She said, you have done a phenomenal job. And we were licensed. We went from being licensed at home for 7 to that first location. I was licensed for 30, which was in 1999. No, I'm sorry. 2001. Yeah. And we've been running ever since. Yeah. So we went from being licensed at the home for 7 to being licensed in that first location to 30. The second location, 72. The third location, 60. And now we're at our other location and we're licensed for 90.
Yes.
And it's all been by the grace of God.
Yes. So from grace to grace to grace. Mm-hmm. Now, as she said, the guy said, I said, but I got a friend, and I was there working, and I said, well, let me call her before he called her. Let me call and make sure. And they stuck together for, was it 10 years? Tanya? She was with that gentleman for 10 years, and he believed in her as a businesswoman. Yes, I have you know. So yes, that say a lot, because he's pretty slick guy, but he believed in her as a businesswoman. So that is where our history came from. And as she said, we went on and we continued. Now our children are grown, and we have children that are counselors. We have children that are business owners. We have children that are pleather. Now, certainly, we may have one or two that may not made the cut all the way, but although they are all quite successful in their own life.
Yes, they are. And they've all, pretty much quite a few of our children have all walked through college as well and got degrees and, bachelor's and master's. And I have a daughter now that's also working on her doctor's degree at SNU.
Wow. Now, which one is that?
That's Shay.
Shay,
okay. Is working on her doctor's degree. And Shay also went to SNU and got her bachelor's and her master's in the exact same two things that I got my bachelor's and master's in. And now she's working on the doctor's program at SNU.
Wow. Yeah.
And she's met a few barriers, but she's tough. She's real sassy and tough. So when she came into those barriers, she stood her ground And where they were trying to keep her back, they couldn't keep her back because after she voiced her opinion and showed her credibility and showed her, this is where I sent it, and this is the day I sent it, this is when I emailed it. They couldn't fight with her, and they knew they didn't have a fight, and they could see she was a tough cookie. So they had to leave her alone and let her come on through those doors as well. And now, like I said, she's in that doctor's program.
Yeah, yeah. And now what I'll say for the audience, with education, because I think life is 3-4, because everybody doesn't go on to get a degree. And it doesn't make you less.
It does not.
But coming up a time that Tanya and I was in that field or in that arena, we were entering it to make the battleground a little bit more even.
Yes.
So we were entering it to make the battleground even, to make our legacy for our children, to continue to show them that they could do things.
Because they do anything that they put their minds to.
Right. Because we did.
I don't know if you did, but I did. I had to tell a few of them, college is not for everybody. Yeah. But if you can get a trade in something that you really like doing, and keep that thing going. And that's what, my children did. One of them, the two that I didn't think would go as far in college are the two that went further than I thought they would go.
Yeah. And I agree with you, Tanya. Trade, one of my most successful children is a realtor. He owns a real estate company. So a trade, and getting to it, like you said, getting that one thing and being successful at it, continue it. Don't stop. Don't quit.
Yes. Find your niche. Find whatever it is that you love to do. And no matter what comes your way, keep moving forward towards it. I don't care what it looks like. I don't care what it feels like. Just keep on moving towards it. Keep on moving towards it. And even if it takes longer than what you felt like it should have taken, that's okay. Don't give up on it. Just keep on moving towards it until you walk through that door, because you will walk through that door if you keep going. Right.
Now, I seen her, I think it was just a post. It says someone successful is just someone who has failed a lot of times and kept going. And kept going.
No matter how many times you fall down, it's not about your fall. It's about you getting back up.
Yes.
Because we're going to fall down. And it's okay to fall down. But it's also even greater to get back up.
That's right.
Get back up and dust yourself off and run again.
Right.
Take a breathing moment and just get back at it.
That's right.
Get back at it until you see yourself through it. Because you will get through it.
Right. Now, I know that for you, and certainly for me, we've always had to the right, if you first you don't succeed, dust yourself off and get back up again. That's true. Now, I think for me, I know that I had to stay focused a lot. So I'm asking you, what are some of the things you had to get rid of that didn't benefit you for you to continue to go, for you to be successful? Because you couldn't open up 3 businesses and still have a lot of the baggage. You just can't. You can't.
I had to let go of a lot of pride and ego.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Pride and ego is a big thing. You have to be able to let go of your pride and ego, and you have to be able to ask for the things you want. You have to be able to realize that I don't have it all figured out, and there's some questions I'm going to have to ask. There's some doors I'm going to have to get through. And so if you're holding on to pride and you're not willing to ask the questions, or I don't want to ask them because every time you ask somebody, they act like they don't know anything, or they don't want to tell you because they don't want you to get ahead of them. Ask the questions anyway.
Okay.
Ask people, what did you do to get successful? And then a lot of it for me too, I had to pray. And I had to pray and ask God for those places where my ego is too big or my pride is I'm holding on to it. Show me how to let that go so that I don't mess up where you're trying to take me, because I know you're taking me somewhere. And I got a lot of things going on, and I got to get rid of those things. I got to learn how to be more humble so that I can get through the doors that I'm trying to go through. Because if I don't remove this attitude, or if I don't remove the ego or the pride, I'm not going to be able to walk through those doors.
Yeah.
I have to really spin in that, and I really asked God to do something in me, and He did, and He's still doing it in me. He's still doing it. It's a daily thing that God is working on something in me. It's a daily walk. It's an every day. You got to pick up and you got to wake up every day and choose and decide that this is what I'm going to do today.
Yes.
I'm not going to let the distractions come in. I'm not going to let the cares of the world come in. I'm going to keep moving forward no matter what. It's an everyday thing.
Right. So that's why
you don't know every day from day to day. You don't know what the world is going to throw at you. You don't know what the challenge is going to be every day. So you got to wake up every day and decide that no matter what, I'm gonna make it through this day. I'm gonna keep pushing no matter what.
Yes. Now, you know what I thought about even before we started, when I was trying to, like, when I was contacting you earlier, like, well, okay, what are we doing? I thought about that Yolanda Adams song, Here All Alone. You remember that song?
I'm trying to think.
It was one of her very first one.
It's one I love all her songs.
It was one of her very first one. Here All Alone. Asking for you. Asking for God. She says, I'm asking just for one little message.
I know the song. It's not playing in my head right now, but I'm pretty sure I know exactly what you're talking about.
And if I could sing, I would sing it to you.
Can you hit a note? Can you just hit a little note?
Oh, no, you don't want me to hit no note. I'm doing the best. I'm doing what I do right now. It's time. But I do think about that because I remember. Because I remember.
I wish I could sing because I would surely hit a note.
Right. Because I can remember listening to that song.
Alone in a room.
Right.
It's just me and you.
Yes.
Okay, I did a little bit now. I know what you're talking about. See, it came. Now, I might not have hit
that note. So I thought about that song because I remember when I would come over and do those trainings, we would listen to that song often.
Yes.
And, you know, and so that was kind of like our song, like, come on now, show us something, do something for us. And
yes.
So I did think about that. He has done a great thing. And I really,
a wonderful thing, and he's still doing great things, even on the days where today has been a day of, today has just been a day, but nevertheless, but God.
Right.
But God. And I've been up literally since 4 this morning when I woke up to read my word, to pray and meditate, and then get on a prayer call for about an hour and a half. And then everything that you could think of today has happened. It has happened. And then I forgot all about this call.
Yes.
I had people on walked in the door when you called, and as soon as I looked at the phone, I'm going, oh my goodness, I totally forgot about this because it's just been a day today. But
yes,
here we are.
Right, here we are. Here we are. And you know what? I think too, because I'm a single mama's advocate, right? Because that's my background. And I know what it looked like for me. Like you said, I know about knocking on doors, getting put out of doors after you've figured, you're doing your best and you've done your best.
Yes.
So I know how to.
Best just isn't good enough for some people.
Yes. So I know that feeling, and I also know the feeling of coming into being a woman. Of being a woman. Would you like to share with our audience what you feel like as a woman and you coming into being a woman? Because like I said, when we met, we were in our late 20s. That's how long it's been.
Being a woman is being a black woman. Being a black woman, because we don't walk through all the same doors that everybody else walks through. Yeah. It's not set up for us that way. It's almost as though it's set up for us to fail. And we gotta do better than the next to come on through the doors. And then we gotta show that we're better to come through the doors. Things that I just set out always black and white for us.
Right, right.
And so we got to come in and put the splash of color. We got to come in and put that we're worthy to be here. We got to come in and show that we've earned our way to be here, and we're going to be here. We're not leaving. I'm not going to shut down. I'm not going to turn away. I'm not going to turn around. I'm going to stand here in this place, and I'm going to be respected just as well as I'm going to respect you. You're going to respect me.
Yes, yes, yes. And and you're so right. We have all kind of challenges. We have, like you said, just not laid out. Then nobody just hands us a hand. We're doing good today. How you doing, Breezy Bree? Payer? How you doing? We're doing wonderful. Uh, but nobody just tells us, and like you say, even within in our culture, the holding of information and not. And like I said, you're always been resourceful because I remember you're like, no, you're gonna do this. Roberta, this, and I'm like, okay. And so I know that most people are not that away, in our culture, and even to us, is not as friendly as what they should be to us. We've gotten thrown out. Let me try to get her back because this was good, good, good. Like I said, she's a phenomenal woman, resourceful, a mom, uh, intelligent. Okay, it got thrown out. I'm sorry. It did. It did. All right. So what I was saying is that you're right. You're right about being a woman of color and entering some of the scenes. Most women of color are in the executive rooms now. Most women of color are making choices, big choices now. They're CEOs of companies. Most women of color are CEOs of their own companies. So we have a lot of power, but it doesn't come easy. It really doesn't. It's not easy because, as I said, and as she shared some of the discriminatory efforts that were against us, and just trying to obtain a master's of management. That's it.
That was it. But it was made so difficult. It was made for us to give up. It was made for us to quit. It was not expected of us to turn around and come back and finish in a complete, in a certain amount of time. But we came back. We did the work. We showed our work, and we came through.
Yes.
In regards to everything that was against us, we still paved the way and came through.
Right. And I think too, Tanya, and like I said, against all odds. I don't know. Like I said, I know when we met, we were single mothers too.
Yes, single mothers, figuring it all out, maneuvering through the best way we knew how. I was told that this is a man's world. I was told that this was a man's world by the dean that was down in Tulsa when I had to go to Tulsa to complete. And I had to sit with that lady in her office because I was so burdened down by the time I made it there. Because that first night getting there, I got lost. And so by the time I made it, that was a little late. And I ended up just kind of breaking down in tears and explaining everything that, had transpired and how I got to this place and why I'm coming down here every week just to complete. And I remember her saying to me, and she cried with me, Caucasian lady, and she ended up crying with me. She says, I hate that this is such a man's world. And pretty much what these men say is what goes, because Dr. Philip Morrison was the one kind of the program that had kicked us out.
Yeah.
So, of course, she had to have conversation with him. And so for her to come out with this is a man's world, and I hate that, pretty much they got to say over everything. It was almost like she was saying, this is why we're here, because of him, and, he's running the show. And so there's just so many barriers when we're trying to come through on every side. But you just got to be steadfast, unmovable, and saying that no matter what, I'm gonna finish this process.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I'm going to finish this process no matter what. And we finished that process. You finished it where you completed it, and I finished where I completed it. And here it is, 23, 24 years later. We're still the best of friends, sisters, and God has been great to us. He's been good to us.
Yes, he has. Yes, he has. Yes, he has. So, and I really like that you said pride, ego, and humility. Humble, yes. Being humble. And it does. I agree with you because sometimes when the word said before pride comes a big fall, right? So so if you're not careful with pride, you're gonna fall because that's the sign of it, being prideful. You're not asking for help. So I agree with that. Sometimes it's hard to ask for help. And sometimes even when you ask for help, in our culture, I feel like we don't get it.
We don't get the exact the things that are extended to other nationalities is not extended. The same hand is not extended to us. Where you may go in a bank and you're able to get this or that, and another one may go in the bank, but we're not able to get the same thing. We're not able to get the same leverage as our counterparts are able to go walk through those doors and come out with probably whatever it is they're asking for. Well, there's probably a cap on what they'll give us.
Yes. That's right.
We're not offered it at all.
Right.
I'm sorry, you don't qualify. And then if you're going from this bank to this bank to this bank, then you know what that does for a credit report or a credit score.
Draws it down.
The more you're going, it drops it down. So there's a lot of things that we stand in face of.
Right. And I agree with you. It is. It's tough. It's a very tough deal. I don't think it's not for the lighthearted. I tell you that. So you really, we have to be tough, and we had to be tough. And we, as I said, we were single mothers, and we were single business owners. We were doing the things that almost super women.
That's what people thought we were. They didn't know. As TDJ say, they seen us in our story. I mean, in the glory, as they would say it, but they didn't know our story.
Right.
They didn't know all the things we had to do to come there. There would be sometimes friends or family or whoever that just don't want to see you accomplish the things you've accomplished, and they feel some type of way, but they don't even know what all it took for you to get there.
Say that.
They don't know the sleepless nights that we stayed up to do homework. We stayed up to be told we're not enough, but yet still we hung in there anyway. They don't know all this. They just say, oh, she's doing this, oh, she's doing that, but you don't have no idea what it took for us to be able to walk in these shoes.
Yes.
You have not a clue. You have not a clue about the sleepless nights. You don't know any of it.
Right. Or just going into a room that no one wants you there. And actually being there and saying, I'm going to be here. That takes a big...
I'm not leaving.
That's right. You're going to have to draw the line. You're going to have to say exactly what you want to say. You're not going to make me uncomfortable because guess what? I'm still staying. So
I'm still standing. You're not going to intimidate me.
Right.
You're not going to throw, the innuendos, that they throw out there, or the mixed messages, the mixed signals, because there's so many things that they'll throw at you.
Yes.
And you just got to be able to catch it all.
Yes.
And again, even in the middle of that, stay humble.
Right. Now, Tanya, would you tell our audience, and I'm asking you this because Tanya got married not too long ago. Has it been 4 years, Tanya?
It's been 3.
3 years. Now, here she is, a successful African-American woman, married 3 years. And I'm throwing that out because our statistics say other. Now, that's one thing. And we just talked about how this world makes it hard.
Well, I'm married. I love that I'm married. I love my husband. My husband is very supportive of everything that I do. He's not intimidated by what I do. He's not envious of what I do. He's not jealous of what I do. He encourages me in every way. any way that he can, if he has to step in to do something, if he has to step in to run an errand, he fits right in where he needs to fit in order for me to do what it is that I need to do. And he's never jealous that my time is taken away when it comes to doing something for the business. Now, he does get, jealous sometimes of the time when he says we're just not spending time. That happens every now and then, but it's not a whole lot because he makes sure to keep me balanced.
Yes, yes. I love that. I love that. And that is a blessing. Someone said it's a blessing. And a
It
big
is.
congratulations. I did meet him and I was so impressed because you know what he does. You both accent each other. That's what I
Thank you so
see.
much for that. Thank
That's
you so
what I
much for that.
see. You both accent each other. And
Yes.
so I was I'm very happy for you. But I think that our younger women, Tanya, as time has went by, we're talking about how hard it was for us being young black women. What do you think about the black women now?
I think now it's such a different generation than when we were coming up. It's such a different generation than when we were doing what we were doing. A lot of these young people are focused, but there's so many that are not focused. And social media has made things so much easier for them to be able to do other things through social media to where, like, they're not having to go through college and all that. They're able to get on social media and do all the different platforms that they have. And I think that that's great. I think that's great that they have those doors, but then sometimes I think that they didn't get to learn. They're not having to really get in the mud to really see what that feels like to hold on to it to keep it.
Okay, okay. So what you're saying is that it may come too quick that they didn't do any of the brick and mortar of it. So
Yes.
and that may be where we get a lot of the because another thing that is on my heart, we have a lot of black women attempting suicide now when we were not before, but post the COVID, we are. And of course, more black men are also doing that. So is that maybe from the media and not?
I also think that that's social media. I believe because with the hit of one button, there's so many messages or comments that come in on these in the social media, and they're looking at all that, and they may tell themselves, I'm not going to go back and look at it anymore. But I think somewhere along the way, they go back and they look at it and they play these things over and over again in their mind, and they're not able to release it. And so then they find themselves in these places where they feel alone. They feel isolated. Although they can be in a room full of people, but for themselves, they're taking all that in, and they're really not having a way to deal with it, to release it, to navigate through it and say, hey, let me separate this from this, and let me separate that from that. And so the first thing they feel to do, to me, is that's what they're doing. They're taking their lives.
Yes.
They're feeling like nobody's there to hear me out. Nobody's there to listen to me. And again, I believe a lot of it comes from the social media and all the comments, because depending on what social media on people and then how many followers you have. And if you're reading all this and you have, I don't care if it's nothing but 10, 20 followers, what are they saying to you? Is it building you up or is it tearing you down?
Right, right, right. And we were talking about it last night, how some of this, and again, tonight, what doesn't benefit you for you to get where you're going, to get where you need to be at. It may be something you need to unsubscribe to or stop,
Yes.
you know. Well, definitely. And another question, and we had someone say that having a supportive black man to a professional woman, a black woman is rare, and it is. So that's why all of the kudos and love, and like I said, they accent each other, and that's an honest comment. Um, what would you leave as a tidbit? And then I want to tell the audience also, Tanya's gonna be back with me. She gonna come back because she a talker. She got the fire. All right. What would you leave our audience, Tanya?
I will leave the audience with, if there's something that you're looking to do do it. Give it your everything. Give it your passion. Give it your love. And don't worry about whether or not if I succeed, because you're going to succeed if you just keep going forward towards it. If you keep moving, if you don't quit, you're going to make it to your destination.
Yes.
Put one foot in front of the other, and God will do the rest.
Yes. Yes.
And believe in yourself.
Yes.
No matter what nobody has to say, believe in you.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
I believe that. I believe that. My grandmother used to say, if don't nobody else believe in you, you better believe in yourself.
You better believe in yourself.
And certainly after living, I realized that is what it takes. You have to believe in
Life's
yourself.
best teacher is life. The best teacher you'll ever find is life itself. Living in this life will be your best teacher.
Yes, it is. It
It's
is.
your best teacher. I mean, I have young adult children that I remember a time when it was just us and them and they were younger. And as they got a little older to teenage and this and that, and they would have so many opinions of the things I did do or didn't do. And I told them, I said, live a little more life. And after you've lived a little more life, you come back and you tell me about where you are. And now that they're all grown and they all have kids and some of them have teenagers, now they're calling me saying, Mama, I remember when you said, because now life for them is life. And they're seeing that, everything is not cross the T's and dot the I's. You try.
Yeah.
You try to cross the T's. You try to dot the I's, but sometimes we don't always get it right. And guess what? That's okay.
That's right.
You're not going to always get it right, and that's okay.
That's right.
But keep moving forward and trying to do the best you can.
That's right.
That's all we can do at the end of the day. That's it.
I agree.
That's it. That's all.
Yeah. And going back to that, I think the other thing is, this is a friend. Iron sharpens iron.
Yes,
So if you don't have a friend that is challenging you, you may need to reconsider that. You don't have
a new group of friends.
That's right. Because if they're,
and that's what I love about you, Roberta. Because you always challenge me, and I always challenge you.
Right.
We challenge one another, and we see the best in one another.
Right.
And we would pull out the best in each other.
Right. Right.
And we knew that we could do whatever we put our minds to. We just keep on working at it. Even if it took a couple of years or 3, 4, that's okay. Just keep working at it. Yes. A little bit at a time. Just keep on chomping away until eventually you'll have been chomped all the way through it.
Right. That's right. So if you, again, that may be something that you might need to get. It's not beneficial. Iron sharpens iron. We've sharpened each other from day one, from that SNU campus in Bethany, Oklahoma.
Yes,
we have sharpened each other. That's right. We have followed each other, even when we can't find each other, because it was a while, believe me, I wasn't even on social media. And my daughter told me, my niece said, Tanya said, you better call us. And I said, what is she doing with her? So iron sharpens iron. And then when I did catch up with her, she was in Mexico. But she took time because she was on vacation. I was like, why are you talking to me? You on vacation. But I was that important to her for her to stop what she was doing and reconnect.
And you will always be. And guess what? You did the same for my 50th birthday party because I hadn't talked to you and you showed up.
I did.
And that was the biggest surprise because I thought about you. And next thing I know, you were there giving me a great big old hug on my 50th birthday. And that's been 4 years ago.
I did. And then one little thing before we leave, she always thought she was older than me. She used to be bossing me around like with just 2 months, just a month and a half. But you would swear she was 10. You would swear she was 10 years older than me. She would tell me, because I wasn't really into my, I say, womanhood. I say it that way. Mm-hmm. I used to my grandmother used to dress me up all the time, but I wasn't really into that. I'm from the country. I was living in the city.
Yeah.
And she looked at me and she said, you know, when you get dressed up, she used little heads. And I
Yes, but you got it together. You pulled that right on in real well. Real well.
And I said, well,
you sassy now. You real sassy.
I'm real sassy, but it took me some time. But she used to always get me because I used to always wear my hair natural, the look natural part. And she just looked and she tell me, I said, well, how old does she think she is over me?
It was all love. Man. You knew that. You knew that. You wouldn't even get upset with me. You'll just take it and eat it and okay.
I got used. Hey, I got used to it that I love you, so that was all it took.
That's all that matters. And you knew it was coming from a genuine place,
yes.
No matter what.
Yes, it is. That's well. How old did she think? So we appreciate you all for sharing the night with us. We appreciate LaTanya Childs Williams. She is on all social media. She has little skit bits of her praying out there. She has skit bits of her telling her testimony. It's a lot tougher than the one she told tonight. She's tired tonight, so she could only tell a little bit. But Miss Williams will be back with me. She is a friend, and I'm gonna keep up with her. She gonna come back and bless us again. And I just want to say thank you all. And one thing for sure, we both say, we love you. Somebody loves you.
Yes.
And good night.